guys, thank you very much for visiting my channel. My name is Amy. I am a freelance journalist and translator who was born and grown up in Tokyo, Japan. I run my Japanese radio show once in a week on 105.9 FM The Region in Japanese and contribute a multimedia story in English. So today we are going to 3 historic sites in Yokohama, Japan to explore its old and rich history. So please stay tuned in the video to the end if you're interested in Yokohama and Japanese history. So the first place we are going to Yokohama Archives of History just behind of me. And the second is the Yokohama History Museum, and the last is the Otsuka Saikachido Relics Park, where located next to the museum. Let's get started. Let's go. Let me talk a little bit about what you're seeing. You see a tree right side of the picture. This is a Tamakusu tree, which is a significant living object. The tree has been here when the US and Japan signed the Treaty of Kanagawa, also known as the US-Japan Treaty of Amity in 1854. The original tree was burned in the Great Kanto earthquake that happened in 1923. However, its roots survived and became the huge and incredible tree. In the courtyard, several boards explaining how Yokohama town developed, the significant port, and the town itself. This is explaining how Western culture evolved in Yokohama and Japan. This board is about Yokohama Chinatown. The photo was taken in 1910. This mentions the Great Kanto earthquake and World War II. Yokohama town was burned down through both tragedies. Through the reconstruction projects, Japan decided to build a park as an evacuation shelter, and the Yamashita Park was born in 1930. What an interesting fact about the Yamashita Park is that they filled up with the Yokohama town's rubble that collapsed after the Great Kanto earthquake. So the park became a symbol of reconstruction and the first seaside park in Japan. Here is the second floor of the Yokohama Archives of History. This is a lithograph by William Heine and captures the Tamakusu tree. Most sections aren't allowed to take pictures or videos due to copyright restrictions, so it's hard to imagine what's in there. But it is worth spending some time here to learn how Yokohama City developed and imported new technologies from abroad, such as gas lamps and sewage. The entrance fee is 200 yen. Yokohama Archives of History locates in front of Osambashi Pier. Next, we are heading to the Yokohama History Museum. It will take roughly 1 hour each to get there by bicycle, so let me explain something around this area. Now you're looking at the Ferris wheel on the left side. That amusement park is called Yokohama Cosmo World, one of the famous amusement parks in Japan, and more than 2 million people visit annually. The Ferris wheel, named Cosmo Clock 21, is one of the figures that represent Yokohama. Did you know why we call the Ferris wheel in English? It's named after its inventor, George Washington Gale Ferris Jr., who built the first Ferris wheel to the world in 1893. In Japanese, it's called kanransha. It's about 18 kilometers from where we were. Before we get to the next destination, let me briefly explain the next facility. The Yokohama History Museum exhibits the history of Japan as well as focusing on how the Yokohama area developed over the past 30,000 years. We call the Paleolithic period Kyuseki Judai or Sendoki Judai in Japanese. The exhibitions are divided into 6 chronological sections from primitive to modern history. It's about 1 hour cycling, so please enjoy the views a bit. So next is here, Yokohama History Museum. Let's go! Here is a primitive era back into 30,000 to 2,400 years ago when people lived in a natural environment. Those stonewares were found around the Kyuseki or Jomon period. It looks simple. This section is another primitive era from 2,400 to 1,700 years ago. It's called Yayoi period, beginning of rice cultivation, and you can see a bit more creative stoneware. Here is an ancient period from 300 CE to 1192, Kofun Jidai, Nara Jidai, and Heian Jidai. You could see authentic stonewares around these periods. This medieval period from 1192 to 1590, people fighting and killing each other to expand their land. It's called Sengoku Jidai in Japanese. The early modern period from 1590 to 1859, it's called Edo Jidai in Japanese. People lived in a time of stability and peace. The last section, the modern period from 1859 to today, especially after opening the port in Yokohama, the town and the citizens changed dramatically. Next to the museum, there is Otsuka Saikachido Relics Park. This park is designed as a national historic site and reproduced pit houses and cemeteries around the Yayoi period village, which is about 2,400 years ago. These 7 pit houses have a common point. Every house of entrance is located to the south side. According to the guide-san, they made the entrance to the south side to protect from north wind in winter and get warm sunlight from the daytime. Again, this is a Yayoi period village which is about more than 2,000 years ago. That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoy watching this and I will see you next time. Bye for now.